Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Etheria Restart video. So in today's video, guys, I wanted to go over the latest hypertalk that came out because there are some really interesting things in here. This was their best hypertalk yet, I think. There is so many quality of life and optimization stuff in here that is so good. It's really good. On top of that, they are adding a new kind of like upgrade system to SRs, which is called Awakened, which is great because a lot of the SRs were falling off. They weren't really competitive anymore, but it looks to me like they're going to at least bring the scale kind of closer back to where it was maybe in the first 2 months of the game. But of course, they've had some power creep and things like that for some of the new SSR animuses. So SRs aren't really used that much. There's one or two that sneak in there every once in a while. You know, Sylph has been used. You have like Hazuki Mari and stuff like that. So there are one or two, few SRs that can be used from time to time. But overall, a lot of the SRs are just not used. So that's one of the main things I wanted to talk about. But I did want to touch on some of these other things that, they're discussing. If you want to go back and watch the whole video, you can, but it's a lot of just like recapping some stuff. They're talking about the balance change that's going to come out. I think everything really depends on that. My last RTA video, I was just talking about how it's just way too stale. They really need to do some major things because it's been the same format for 3 months. And I just can't get behind it. I know some people always have comments like, I have no idea what I'm talking about, which is fine. It's their opinion, but from my personal gameplay standpoint, it's boring. So I'm hoping the balance change does something to shake up the meta a little bit. I don't want it to be just like, oh, make it overpowered so CC is amazing and all that stuff. I don't care about that. I just want it to be a different kind of meta is all. Okay. They do talk about like having a calendar for season 2. The rotation on those things is actually pretty good. We'll talk about that in a bit. But they've got 5 new animuses coming out by this month to January. There will be 5 new animuses, so that's always good to kind of shake up the meta. Some of the previews that they had on the other 2, on the 2 in this video, I don't want to talk about them because what they talk about in the videos don't necessarily translate to what the actual character does. So I always like to see them in game before I talk about them. But it is exciting that they are creating so many of these new animuses. And it looks like what they're doing is they're staying, with the kind of concept that they've had since launch, which is mostly SSRs, but maybe a few SRs here and there that can be impactful. And with this Awakened SR stuff, it's now giving you the possibility of bringing some of these SRs back into the fold and switching up the meta a little bit. So could be fun. They also talk about some shell stuff, which we'll get into, new events, and then the optimizations. So the first one that we're going to discuss is this thing right here. These are the 2 new characters. Oh yeah, they have a little launch celebration coming for season SS2, so that's pretty nice. They talk about some of the new characters being released, their skill kits, which again, I really don't like to touch on until they actually show up in game, because in the past, they've talked about how something is one way and then it doesn't end up being what they talk about in the video. So these are the 5 new characters. I believe one of these characters is going to be a LD. They do seem pretty strong, and we're due for a new LD. So it's either these 2 will be a light and dark, or this one will. And then I guess it's possible that this one's a new light and dark as well, as it's 2 months apart. So you could get one here like right at the beginning of December, and then this one is another light and dark in January. So this is what I'm most excited about, this Awaken feature. So they showed these 3 characters right here, which is Turandot, which has never been relevant, but I thought she was really close to being good because she's extremely fast. And she has attack up and defense up on her skill 3. And I think they also even gave her some kind of buff. I can't remember, but it kind of went unnoticed because she just still wasn't good enough. But let's go to the archive real quick just to see what that is. I'm almost positive they did some kind of. Maybe they reduced this to a 3-turn cooldown. And then the effect accuracy, I don't know. I thought they did something to buff her, but maybe they didn't. But with this awakening, not only is it going to give these characters base stats, but it's also going to enhance their skills. So what that means, I don't know, but I have a sneaky suspicion that it's going to tweak the abilities a little bit, where maybe they get an extra turn or they do turn meter boost, right? Like it's just an additional add on top outside of like lattices and stuff. Now, if they just keep this two SRs, it'll be good. What I'm really fearful of is they're going to have like another kind of item that you need to use to upgrade the characters. So like it's another form of a lattice that you'll have to do to build on top. It could easily go that way, and I really hope it doesn't. But if it's just grinding and going in and doing missions to level up these 3 SRs to enhance them a bit, I think that's a really cool feature. So they show like this tree here, which looks like it's just a bunch of stat upgrades, like even more speed to RC77 is really interesting because he's one of the fastest characters in the game. But you can see here, like they break down what this actually does, right? So he gets a new passive. When an enemy target has a debuff purified, their buffs are simultaneously dispelled and their max HP is reduced. If the target has no dispellable buffs, additional max HP will be removed. So, like, okay, you go in and you put up attack down and defense down and maybe stun one of the characters, but, you know, a Ling Luo had immunity up. So then she goes in there and tries to cleanse. It's going to remove the immunity from them that she just put up and then also destroy some of their max HP. So, I mean, really good against Tiamat, really good against Ray Mary, you know, reducing max HP to limit their damage. Like, that is awesome that you add a totally new passive. They got some new debuff spreads and then overall skill enhancement. Like, those are the things that I don't know what they're going to do. Purify all debuffs from the target on Sonya. New effect increases the turn meter of allied animus affected by all powerful protection, which is the max HP buff that she puts on people, right? And sadly they don't show turn dot. At least I don't think they did. Yeah. Oh, here she is. See, right here, adds a new turn meter plus effect. So this could turn into something really, really cool where all of these SRs that weren't really used before now kind of get just a new life. They also mention the shell thing that they introduced, the shell forge kind of being a normal thing, which is good. They had to keep that going. And now you can make some minor tweaks to your shells. So you can farm or get these items that give you the guaranteed passive that you're looking for in the 1, 2, and 3 slots. Like, these are all amazing quality of life changes. You can even change like one of these matrices. Like, let's say you have 2 of the perfect matrices here, but you missed on this one. They're now releasing an item where you can go in and change this. So the biggest issue that we've had with the game is you've had to do so much farming in PvE without any kind of progression, and it didn't allow you to really enjoy the PvP side because you were still farming all the PvE stuff to try and make your character viable in PvP. So this really speeds up the process of that. Now, we still have the issue of lattices being a thing and being an issue. But I can honestly say with this new calendar, also here's the item that they're going to be releasing, and it shows the individual like passives in in these boxes that you can select and slap on a shell, which is a great idea. Like, I wasn't even thinking about this. They do have some new cosmetics for the shells as well, which I think is a great kind of idea. And I think they have to drop them. Like, you have to go search for them like you're farming for shiny shells, kind of like how they do in Pokemon. So it's a bit interesting. But their calendar, this is one of the things that I'm quite excited for as well. Like, you can see the limited time events like the Dreamscape, Cage Rumble, and Nether Quarry, which is the new PvE event that they came out with just recently, has a lot of like lattice fragments or guaranteed lattices in them. And Dazzler Pulse, as you can see, is coming once a month as well. So it does seem like we're getting some uptick on lattices. So I'm hopeful that they're going to be. It seems like they're going in the right direction. Sadly, they still have Champions Call in here. I don't think anyone likes that. They also have a new kind of a Chaku treasure hunt event as well, which they kind of describe here. I don't know if the rewards are going to be good or not. They talk about them being good, like leveling up. You see some Prism dice in here, which are, the new reroll features. So, I mean, you can't go wrong here. And then they talk about the upgrades to the quality of life, like simulating some of the more mundane tasks. The recent raid button that they added to Ethernet Rally has been a godsend. And now they also mention that in Ember Trek, the in-between floors where you're running around that no one likes, they're going to be, you can auto them. So, like, they've made all the right changes. So I'm extremely impressed with what they've done here. I also talk about some of the EWS stuff as well. But this update is getting me hopeful. It's exciting stuff. It's taking away some of the time-consuming things that we don't really like doing. We still get all the rewards, and now we can play more PvP and hopefully build more characters. But I'm still just waiting for that balance patch. The balance patch needs to be good, or all of this is for nothing. But still, it is pretty exciting. I recommend that you guys go watch the entire video, see all the little like minute things that I didn't cover. But those main pieces are what I'm most looking forward to. So, yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts below, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.